Hello. So, welcome to part 2 of portrait practice for Planes of the Head slash Planes of the Skull. And this time, we are now tackling the study of the skull. And so I did the construction phases of both the skull references, and I adjusted the the sensitivity for the pencil brush here in Clip Studio Paint, but it's not as how do I say this? It's not as it still goes down quite solid, so I still had to be quite reserved on the amount of lines that I need to put down, and also I was just having a bit of fun on like trying to block out the light areas and the shadow areas. And these construction phase is probably the part where I try to do most of the thinking, not the color phases, because I think because in the construction phase with just using lines, you're trying to figure out the proportion of everything and trying to figure out all the plane changes early on, so that when you paint it, you don't have to really think about it because you've already put down the construction lines for it. Yeah. But as you'll notice, throughout this video, I'm only gonna show the process of the first skull, because when I did the recording for the second skull, there was a error in the recording, and of course I can't redo what I just did because I spent quite a lot of time trying to trying to paint out the skull, that I'm just not gonna bother doing it again. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you the process that I did for the first skull reference. Also, the plan for this particular video, by the way, is about tackling edges. So, from my knowledge of edges in the context of painting, it's pretty much the uses of hard edges and soft edges, and you have to use them not in tandem. You have to use them in the right areas in order to inform subtle plane changes, the cast shadows being cast from the form or other objects within the scene. And I was planning to do that, but I realized that the brush that I used in this particular process in Clip Studio Paint was a hard round mixing brush. So when it comes to soft edges, they're non-existent really. So I was using hard edges in order to do the painting. So how do I dictate form without any soft edges? I tried to use subtle value changes from one part of the form to another in order to sort of suggest a soft gradiating change in the planes. Next time I might actually put in some of that logic into it, the soft edges and the hard edges when it comes to doing painting studies and stuff. But I think also, like, painting with the hard round brush really tests your metal in the knowledge of color theory and brush economy. And what I mean with brush economy is how many strokes you want to put down into a page or a canvas, whether you're using digital mediums or traditional mediums. because you don't want to o- overdo the painting with too many brushes, too many brush strokes, or too many paints. You have to keep it as simple as possible in order to keep the keep the subject clear to the audience, for the audiences to understand what's happening. I try not to pick out colors from the actual references. I'm trying to eyeball everything, and I think that's also a good way to really test my knowledge of using warms and cools and darks and lights. If you've been paying attention, I was using layers in order to do this particular painting, and I've always found using layers quite sometimes quite tedious, and also I didn't really appreciate it up until like I actually did this particular study. Well, it turns out I don't. If I was just using one layer in order to paint, I would just paint over the mistakes and have to do it all over again. But when you use layers to your advantage, you can just you know just do an overpainting of everything, keep it separate, and do another overpainting in order to keep everything quite clean and orderly, and so you don't have to really pretty much redo your process in the end. And you can go back to some of the other layers if you think that some of the later layers are like not going as you planned. And yeah, that's what I did. It is quite useful if you have the luxury of using layers. Of course, if you're using traditional mediums, you have to be quite critical in the amount of stuff that you're gonna do. Yeah, I feel sorry for you guys, but um, that's just the luxury of digital painting and painting with layers. Anyway, this was a really fun video to do, like going back to the basics and learning about the planes of the skull and pretty much painting out the skull. It's really fun learning about, value, color, edges, and all that stuff. And I also hope that you guys like it as well, because I'm planning to sort of do some similar stuff on some other subjects, like, I don't know, hands, feet, environments, landscapes, digital painting, stuff, whatever. But anyway, that's it for me now, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya!